Hi guys, so today I'm going to be talking through how I got comfortable with using my flip phone in 2024. I downgraded about a month ago from my smartphone to this Nokia flip phone and I've been loving using it ever since. In my last video I explained why I made that decision, and a lot of you commented about some of the practical considerations that have held you back from making the same decision, which I totally understand, because when I was making this decision for myself personally, there are a few things that I felt like I really did not want to give up in downgrading because of safety and convenience, and I managed to find a way around those things that I'm now comfortable with so that I can use my flip phone on a day-to-day basis. Obviously, one of the major things when you are downgrading is that you know that you're going to be giving up on convenience in many respects. Like, the way in which we function with our smartphones is so quick and we have literally the world at our fingertips that downgrading to a flip phone is you're never gonna get the same level of convenience from it. And I feel like that is something that is just part of the decision-making process that you have to accept and know that although there is a cost in that you don't have the same level of convenience, the benefit is that you get more of your attention back and you potentially also improve your brain health. So on with the list. So the first thing that I see in the comments, and was something that was really big for me too, was not wanting to lose access to GPS and to WhatsApp. Those were the two apps, when I really thought about it, that I felt as though I did not want to miss out on. GPS, for obvious reasons, I don't want to get lost and I want to feel safe. I live in a big city, and so being able to get around whilst also feeling safe and like I can be independent is quite important to me. And for WhatsApp, I did consider actually getting a phone that didn't have WhatsApp on it at all. And then as soon as I thought about that, and I thought about what it would feel like to be disconnected from WhatsApp, I thought actually I would be, I think, too isolated from the communities that I have on WhatsApp, whether that's my family or my friends. And in all honesty, I don't spend too much time on WhatsApp anyway. It's more of a place that I use to give people quick informational updates, or vice versa, or to make plans with people, or to communicate with people like my friends who live abroad through voice notes and things like that. So that was really important to me in terms of maintaining my relationships. The thing about dumb phones is that there are a range of different types of dumb phone. So on the one hand, you can have a phone that quite literally does nothing apart from text and call. And on the other hand, you can have phones like this, where they do have technically an app store. So they do have access to things like WhatsApp, GPS, even Facebook and YouTube, but the running system, whatever it's called, the software, is so bad that you would not want to spend any time scrolling or watching videos on this. I would not. And actually, once I got it, I took off all of the apps that I don't want to use anyway, so I couldn't even access them if I wanted to. But you're not going to spend your time on this tiny screen with these crappy little pads going on YouTube or scrolling on social media or scrolling the internet. So I decided that I wanted to get one that had access to WhatsApp and to GPS, which I can comfortably access via this phone. Now, GPS is, it's all right, like it works. It's not as quick or as pretty as you would find on a smartphone, but it still works. So I don't really have any qualms with GPS with this so far. What I do though is, especially if I'm doing a journey that I haven't really done before, I will look up the details of the journey beforehand and make a note in my planner that I take with me wherever I go of the directions. So if for whatever reason this just doesn't work, or I'm not really getting on with it very well, then I have a backup. That's whilst I'm getting used to this phone. But actually now I've done it a few times, like I'm feeling comfortable that I can rely on the GPS on this phone really quite well. It connects to, well, it has 4G, and it also has the ability to connect to Wi-Fi. So if I didn't have 4G for whatever reason, I could go into a cafe and connect to Wi-Fi through this as well. In terms of WhatsApp, now WhatsApp's an interesting one. For me, it does what I need it to do. So you can text, you can send photos and receive photos, you can send videos and receive videos up to 8 megabytes, so quite small video files. You can voice note. The things you can't do are things like you can't make voice calls, you can't make video calls, and you can't use WhatsApp web. So again, they're just things to consider, because convenience wise, like, sure, it's not very convenient to not be able to voice call or video call when we're so used to being able to do that. But at the same time, it's a phone. Like, I can just call someone or if I'm at home and I want to video call someone, I can just use Zoom or Skype. So for me, that was worth it. And functionality wise, WhatsApp on this phone is, for me personally, a dream, because I tend to type way too fast on my smartphone and make mistakes. And on these keypads, it's like I used when I was a kid, a teenager, and I've got really quite used to typing again on this pad. What's it called? No, it's not QWERTY, is it? But you know what I mean. It takes a while to get used to, but I actually really quite like it now. And it means that I spend less time sending really long text messages to someone, for example. If I need to tell my husband something, instead of typing it all out, I'll just call him, and I get to be able to actually hear his voice and connect with him on a deeper level than just like sending him a message. So if anything, it's steering me towards spending more time talking to my friends and family, which I think is quite a benefit. So that's GPS and WhatsApp. The next point was around banking, and this is a really fundamental point. I don't know what it's like in other countries, but in the UK, you have, I think for most banks, if not all banks, you have to have access to banking apps in order to be able to actually bank online these days. So that for me was obviously a major factor in downgrading to a flip phone. And the way I've got around this, some may say it's cheating, but I don't believe so, because I've reassigned what a smartphone means to me now. But the way I've got around this is that I have kept my smartphone. So the Samsung smartphone that I was using before on a day-to-day basis, I still have it. And it just doesn't have the SIM in it, because obviously the SIM is now in my flip phone. And so if I ever need to use my banking app, which is probably once or twice a month, I will just take the SIM out of this phone, put it into my smartphone, do what I need to do on the banking app. There's no other apps on my smartphone now anyway, because I basically completely blattered it and it only has the banking app and the very basics, so I can't really get that distracted. And then I'll swiftly take the SIM back out of my smartphone and put it back in my flip phone. And that's been working really well for me. The next one is photos and videos. So again, fair point. This, in terms of taking photos and videos, this has the crappiest resolution camera I think you could possibly find. I actually like it. I think it reminds me of like those grainy photos that you took in the 90s that look really nostalgic. So in sort of light, so not low lighting, like not in the evenings, I actually do use this. We went out, my husband and I, for breakfast the other day, and I took a picture of him whilst we were out, and it was great. So that's kind of all I need this little phone for when I want to just take photos on a whim. I also carry around a camera, like a point and shoot camera, so that if I want to take higher quality photos, or say I'm going on holiday or I'm going on a trip, then I'll take an actual camera, so I don't really need to worry about having one on my phone anyway. In terms of receiving photos and videos, this is an important one, I guess, through WhatsApp and things like that, because often, for me at least, families and friends keep in touch by sending like photo updates or video updates. Receiving photos on this is totally fine. Receiving short videos is also totally fine. Longer videos, it can't download, because it doesn't, I think it only downloads up to 8 megabytes at a time. So that's the only downside, but so far I haven't had to worry about that. If and when that does happen, I think what I'll do is just ask the family member or friend in question to send the video, if it's an important one, via a link on Google Drives or something like that. Like, there's going to be a workaround, right? If you need that video enough, then there's going to be a way to get it quite quickly. It's just, again, not quite as convenient as having it on your phone. But the upside is that I don't have a load of digital clutter that I don't really know what to do with and never look at. The next thing is music. For me, this was another big thing. I really like to be able to access music whenever I want, and I wasn't too sure whether this would connect to my Bluetooth headphones and whether I'd be able to even get music on this. But lo and behold, it connects to my Bluetooth headphones very easily, so I can use this to play music whilst I'm on the go. The way that I get music on here is a little bit more convoluted than obviously just pressing a button on Spotify and downloading music. But I personally really enjoy the process. I collect CDs. So I collect CDs and then put them on or burn them onto my laptop. And then it's a very quick process of taking a micro SD card, putting it into the laptop, putting the music from the laptop onto the micro SD card, and then just slotting the micro SD card into this phone. It then has everything that you need on it on the phone. So I listen to all of the CDs that I have that are now held on here in the micro SD card really easily, without any hassle. I honestly do not notice the difference. Like, once you've done the kind of put the time into the setup, it just feels like having access to music like normal. Although obviously it's only music that I've pre-downloaded. I can't just stream music online from this phone. But I don't want to do that anyway because it's a distraction. The next thing is digital tickets. Like the banking point, a lot of companies these days offer discounts through apps. Even like some restaurants now take all of the orders through apps and things like that. I haven't had to really come up against this issue yet. But I know for sure that like most companies that I have come through, like for example Ticketmaster, when you get tickets to go to gigs and things, have the option of printing tickets. So I think in the future, if this does become an issue, I will just have to pay more attention to printing tickets in advance, or else I will need to call companies and say and explain I don't have access to an app. Like, there must be another way of me obtaining this discount. Now, of course, like that's, again, more time and effort. But for me personally, for the amount of time that for the number of occasions on which that actually is going to present itself in my life, it was worth it. Like it's worth it to not be on my phone all the time for that. So yeah, those are the main things, the main drawbacks about downgrading from a smartphone to a flip phone that nearly stopped me from doing that. And the reasons or the practical ways in which I have got round those issues. I hope that is of interest or help to anyone who is on a similar path of considering this option. And let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I can try to help out a bit more from my own personal experience. The main thing that I would say is that there are always going to be reasons not to downgrade. By definition, taking this route is less convenient, and it being less convenient is a cost that you have to work out whether or not is outweighed by the benefits of disconnecting from screens and from smartphones more. And in my case, that's definitely like been proven to be the case through making this switch. But I completely appreciate it's not for everybody. So this is merely me sharing my personal experience for anyone who is considering the same, or just wants to hear more about what it's like to be on the other side of having made the decision. I write more about this kind of stuff on my Substack, which is my weekly newsletter. So if you're interested to hear more, then sign up for that. I'll leave a link in the description box. And otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.